Hey, what's good, listeners? Welcome to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, Bunker Edition. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
Uh, Interesting. My morning has just been like
I love that, just like that
weird.
that long drag.
I think we just entered Mercury retrograde. I could be wrong, but I honestly think today was Mercury retrograde because everything has
Marissa,
been
I
weird.
think that's a very big word for saying we're transitioning into the fall season. I could be wrong. I could be wrong
Equinox.
about
It is
where
a
you're coming
wrong
from.
word because Mercury retrograde happens 4 times a year. But
Oh,
equinox
look at
did
that.
just happen. It did just happen. First of fall, Libra season on the
That
22nd.
That is hilarious. I did want to reference because I had this on my phone real quick because this is kind of breaking news that just dropped. It wasn't a part
Ooh.
of our show today, but I figured millennials, you're going to want to know about this. But Marvel is actually the hires of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, who are the owners of Marvel. They're actually suing Disney. So this is developing right now. It's breaking news, which that means that some of your favorite Marvel Avenger characters could be on the line when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is developing as we speak live on air. So if you want to check that out after the show, because Marissa and I, we got a great lineup for you. Check that out then. But we always like to do this at the top of the show because on this day, David Beckham debuted for Manchester United in 1992. And also, I love this record. It never gets old. On this day in 1990, Megadeth's fourth studio album, Rust in Peace, was released. And also 30 years ago today, Nirvana's album Nevermind was released. And also, a fun fact for anybody out there, this was the first appearance of Dave Grohl being a part of the band with Nirvana. Now he's basically a modern day Beatle. But we've got a great show for everybody out there because our strike a chord artist is Astoria State, an American rock band that is making huge waves in the music scene. And also, don't forget to check out our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring the Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk. All right, Marissa, it's time to rock and roll.
Hey, pretend that was the TLDR. Just pretend it was TLDR.
Yeah, let's just pretend.
Just pretend.
I heard
Just
a little
pretend.
gasp in the background, but it's all good. Hey, stuff happens when you're live doing this remote via COVID pandemic.
No, it's just all me. And I'm blaming Mercury.
I don't even care so much about the transition. I would rather have Marissa Pitts with me by my side on this show because, we got a great lineup for y'all. But hey, this is hashtag TLDR, too long, don't read. Marissa and I, we did all the reading for you, so you didn't have to do it. As Twitter announces yesterday that it will now allow users to tip their favorite creators on the social network using Bitcoin, China announced this Friday a total crackdown on cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin and Ethereum sinking in value because of the news. In an article from CNN titled, Bitcoin plummets after China intensifies cryptocurrency crackdown by Sean Dang and Chris Lacoste. So Chinese government agencies, including the People's Bank of China, said in a statement on Friday that all cryptocurrency-related business activities are illegal and vowed to clamp down on illicit activities involving digital currencies. So what does that even mean? Is China concerned about the increasing amount of energy required to mine Bitcoin because of global warming? Not a chance. The agency said that the overseas crypto exchanges would be blocked from providing services to Chinese residents through the internet and will gradually start shutting down crypto mining operations as part of its goal to achieve financial stability. And honestly, CCS family, do people actually expect a communist country to adopt a decentralized currency? Our past guest on the show, Bitcoin billionaire Brock Pierce, would say, cryptocurrency brings economic freedom to the people as it unchains them from governments and central banks. Yet, most people in finance and economics are totally oblivious to what is happening. Tesla buys Bitcoin. El Salvador adopts Bitcoin. Twitter adds Bitcoin. And I swear, listeners, we indeed live in a strange world.
All right, Big Brother is at it again because in an article from the New York Post titled, iPhones may soon detect depression, autism, and cognitive decline, report by Theo Waite. Apple is working on features designed to detect depression, anxiety, autism, and the cognitive decline that can develop into Alzheimer's. Sounds great, right? Until you get to the part that states Apple would reportedly use extensive personal data, including information about users' sleep patterns, physical activity, typing behavior, and more. I mean, look, I know us millennials don't have too many concerns with privacy like the baby boomers do, but as a mother, I am truly concerned for what this means to my daughter's medical privacy. So this feature is going to be used to monitor and collect information about our children's mental health that will follow them the rest of their lives. I mean, Chris, are you surprised that the neurodivergent community isn't up in arms about this feature?
I like how you put neurodivergent community. I don't even know if most people even know what the hell that even
That's
means.
The autism community.
Okay. No, that is so true. I'm so glad you referenced that because I think that needed to be spelled out right here on the show. But my first reaction when I heard this news, and I'm so glad you mentioned this during your TLDR segment, is because you referenced this last week. It's like, what do we expect when we put the blame on social networks for depression and anxiety, let's say amongst teenage girls? These phone companies, these tech world and the social networks, they all feel like they need to be that much more closer to our personal health. Why? We're just the consumer. We don't necessarily give them the rights to be able to tell us how, every track I take, every time I type on my phone, or let's say every time I'm on Instagram and I'm holding that much longer on a video. How much more does that tell them? This is only a cop-out to get that much closer so they could sell advertising dollars towards you and less about your quote-unquote personal health.
And honestly, so yes for that. And also, it's a way for tech companies like Facebook and Twitter and so on, for social media, to be able to say, hey, look, and Apple, who provides the features, say, oh, look, you can't sue us because we're doing everything possible to help you with your child. And really, all those teenagers, it's your parents have access to that information. Like, I don't know.
I just find it ironic that, like, literally not this most recent iOS update, but, the one before it, that was the big deal about, Apple's giving us our rights now to say, like, do you want it to be able to track us while we're on the app, or don't track us at all, or do you want to track us all the time? Now Apple's basically saying, yeah, that was just a bunch of gimmicks. Now we're
still tracking you.
We're still tracking you. I mean, come on. How hilarious is that? How do we forget that? That was like literally 3 months ago. Just saying.
Yeah, that actually report came out this week. Oh, by the way, we're actually still tracking you. We don't care. Anyway, cognitive decline and divergence need multiple doctors and years of observation to correctly diagnose and offer support help to families. Not Siri in 2 minutes.
So true. That's funny. In an article from the New York Post titled, Daniel Craig believes James Bond should not be a woman, by Brooke Caddo. So Daniel Craig would rather see the sky fall than watch James Bond be played by a woman. So the former on-screen James Bond told Radio Times, quote, why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman? His comments echo those of the franchise's producer, Barbara Broccoli, who told Variety last year that, quote, James Bond can be of any color, but he is male. So, Marissa, I don't know about you, but I'm with Daniel Craig. Let's create stories for women and people of color just as kick-ass as James Bond, because I know that there are plenty of them out there, but major studio outlets continue to support being unoriginal and would rather create remakes instead of supporting young up-and-coming screenwriters. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, we're hearing about a possible strike coming to the cinema studios in the next week or two.
Yeah, and even have a strike with the people who are the grips and who are running the stuff. Like, they're in the middle of it right now. I'm a firm believer of original stories. Look, you want to take something and flip it, okay, fine. As long as, and we're going to throw in some Aristotle here, okay, for the poetics, because I'm teaching that right now. As long as you go with the character's thoughts and make it true to the story, who cares how we're doing it? But most of Hollywood doesn't care about that. They want to check off some boxes and they say, oh, look, we have someone of color. Oh, look, hey, we're here. Where even the Emmys have just proved it doesn't matter. They'll still go all white. Okay.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's just so cringy because you start thinking about what they're saying and what they're possibly going to do with Harrison Ford, how they're going to pass the baton and then make Harrison Ford now a female front. And we see what happened this week that just premiered, The Wonder Years, where I thought Black Americans who especially want to be actors today hate being typecasted, right? Well, The Wonder Years is the perfect example of being typecasted. I mean, they just replaced the child star as a young Black American in 1968 in Montgomery, Alabama. Like, really? I mean, there's so many great original stories out there for women and people of color that I just wish the cinema studios, if you're listening right now, get your shit together, because there are young up-and-coming screenwriters out there today that got the next killer story, and you're missing out, fam. Though James Bond is very much a man for now, the No Time to Die movie is bringing more women on board, both in front of and behind the camera, and you will be able to watch Daniel Craig's final hurrah as 007 next month in theaters on October 8th. Yeah, what's good, listeners? This is Just Talking, where Marissa and I discuss all the latest news circulating around the world this week. Here is the week's wrap. So the European Commission, the executive arm of the European Union, has announced plans to force smartphone and other electronic manufacturers to fit a common USB-C with an aim of reducing e-waste. So the proposal is likely to have the biggest impact on Apple, which continues to use its Lightning connector rather than the USB-C connector adopted by most of its competitors. And I know, listeners, it might sound appealing at first, but this proposal only covers devices using wired, not wireless chargers. I mean, think about it. Companies such as Apple have 2 years to comply, which leaves them with enough time to completely drop all ports and go all MagSafe, aka wireless charging. And also, let's not ignore how weird it is that government is forcing design decisions in products. I mean, I know that it's frustrating that we always have to keep upgrading your charging cables every 5 years, but should government be allowed to intervene with technology? I mean, like, honestly, do people believe USB-C will be eternal? I don't know about you, Marissa, but during my span of life, I've lived with the normal, the mini, micro, and now USB-C. And if the government can intervene with technology, this would give them more leverage in the social media world. And all I know is the last place I want government involvement in is technology. But all right, baby, every time you hear this sound cue, you know it's about to be fight night coming up pretty soon. And get this, Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant gave fans a preview of their upcoming fight at a Tuesday press conference when both fighters threw punches at each other at the conference during a stare down ahead of their super middleweight title fight on November 6th. So Marissa, when you're ready, let's roll the clip.
I am getting there.
Oh my gosh, it is juicy.
Here it is.
All right, let's get it.
Preview. Don't get paid. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Not really. That's not really a good start to any kind of press conference. But Marissa, I have a two-part question for you because Canelo Alvarez is clearly the aggressor in this situation, throwing the first shot by pushing Caleb Plant away from him. But Alvarez claims the following about the situation, and he said, quote, he started talking a lot of things. I answered. Then the bad thing he said was, you motherfucker, you say whatever you want to me, but not to my mother. My mother is not here. So How is saying mother trucker to Alvarez a direct shot at his mother?
Well, it's not. And there's actually been a lot of research done on the origins of mother trucker.
Oh,
Just so you
indulge
know,
us and the
it
listeners.
is. So, no, there is. It actually used to be a huge, horrible slang in the 1800s. And one guy, he was an African American. He actually did 10 years of hard labor for writing a military personnel and calling them that. And they gave him 10 years for calling him a mother effer, right? But never has it ever been used to say you fuck mothers.
A direct, okay? Yeah, it's not a direct
It's
assault
about yourself. It's about your moral character. And that's kind of how it always was. And it just came into, and Samuel L. Jackson has made it cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I love it. It's a cool thing now.
Talking about her mothers the whole time, but all I know is that Alvarez will risk his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles against Plant, who is the unbeaten IBF champion. And my last question for you, Marissa, is because clearly this is probably one of the more juicier fights, but we got to move on. But I guess we'll talk about that later on another time. So Gen Z and millennials are cashing in on lost time due to the pandemic and applying new financial lessons from these life-changing years, according to a new survey by YouGov. So the results found that nearly 7 in 10 are getting back to spending money on things they missed because of COVID-19, and nearly 6 in 10 of the youth created new saving goals because of their spending habits have changed. And I find this new research kind of refreshing. How about you, CCS family? Because anyone on the fence worried about how they can't physically save money as well, think of it like this. What does it take to blow $10,000 in a year? Just $27.50 a day in reckless spending. Think about it. You might actually save up on that vacation. Well, you know me, I love rock and roll, same as Marissa, and this week on Loudwire, the publication has created a podcast series called 30 Years of Grunge with a variety of guest artists talking about the rise of grunge music, and they've already discussed who the pioneers of the grunge were in the Pacific Northwest throughout the 1980s, and they have already gone into detail about what made grunge grunge. But now we've come to 1991, the year that grunge exploded. And the general consensus amongst rock fans seems to be that Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit is really the reason why grunge blew up in Seattle. But a scene doesn't just get picked up by mainstream overnight. And as legendary artist manager Susan Silver, best known for managing bands like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Screaming Trees, told Loudwire, quote, "It was more of a 10-year overnight success for Nirvana." I don't know how Marissa feels about that statement, because I know she has a disagreement for that one.
Actually, no, I agree with her.
Oh,
it takes on average for a band to blow up. It does take a 7 to 10 year period. I started listening to grunge because grunge is that's my era. You know what I'm saying? A little older here. Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. And then Nirvana blew my mind. And right at that same time, Pearl Jam came out.
But I guess the real question is, though, how you just referenced, if you're agreeing with Susan Silver, then Nirvana didn't necessarily create the grunge explosion then.
I don't think they created the explosion. I think they created a teen bop explosion of grunge. So before that, it was kind of more of like a teenager thing. Right, and then when Nirvana came out, and I was listening to it before because I had some older friends, you know what I mean? Because I was hanging with the older crowd. But when Nirvana came out, it was like every 11-year-old girl, 12, 13, all of a sudden is grungified. And like we're like still listening to Nirvana. I mean, it's still being played on all the channels now where you're not really hearing Soundgarden.
That's true.
That's on 95.5.
And I think there's no denying that we could all say that Nirvana definitely made grunge more mainstream. But when it comes to the grunge explosion, my take on it is this. There were several events and artists that really helped open the doors for Smells Like Teen Spirit. And one of the bands that's always under the radar is a band called Mother Love Bone, who were one of the most promising acts in Seattle, with many locals expecting them to be the next big band. But unfortunately, before the debut album, Apple, came out in March 1990, the frontman, Andrew Woods, was unresponsive in his home, which left people like Chris Cornell, who actually lived with Andrew Woods back in the day in Seattle, to actually form up with members of Mother Love Bone to form a band that we all know today, Soundgarden, which they ended up recording their most iconic album, Temple of the Dog, in just 11 days. So possibly Chris Cornell, but that was 1990. But on the same day that Smells Like Teen Spirit was released as a single, Eddie Vedder and his group Pearl Jam released their most iconic debut album, 10. So if I were to put somebody down, 1991 Explosion, I got to put my pearls down and say Pearl Jam, baby. What is going on? I feel like I'm in Marissa's head, when she was maybe my age. No pun intended on your age.
Actually, I was a lot younger doing hard drugs. I was sober by your age.
Yeah, and I'm still sober today. Okay?
You're saying.
But the reason why you might feel like you're going on a DMT trip is because there is a viral piece from BuzzFeed that is circulating the internet this week that contributor John Smelly was on the pursuit of the feeling of what people are calling non-existence, which is a chemically catalyzed by a tryptamine called 5-MeO-DMT, also known as the God molecule. That is a mouthful. Okay, that's all I gotta say. But the God molecule that is illegal in the US is seeing young millennials travel to the likes of Jamaica to experience the drug that facilitates a full-blown mystical experience, including an alleged communion with some higher order and divine consciousness. I'm just using his words. This is not mine, okay? But some users of the psychedelics say that you will feel a brief collapse of the ego called ego death. So it sounds like millennials want a little ego death in their vaccine boosters coming up, Marissa. I don't know about you, but I've never done LSD or DMT, unlike, my co-host Marissa Pitts. So,
I've done a lot of LSD.
But I know it's been a long time that you've used psychedelics, but would you consider doing the God molecule?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And let me tell you why. Because actually, I've been asked if I wanted to go on a trip when everything opens up and go do this. So, and this person's a health fanatic, which is, I'm like, wow. But I was like, here's why I could never, ever do it. The last time I did shrooms, it was about a decade ago. And I all of a sudden had, I knew where I was in the world. I understood the tapestry. I understood where we happened. I was so close to God that I stood up for 8 hours outside.
Well, what does that mean, being
wanting
so close to God?
have a meteor crush me because I was so happy. And that was just on shrooms.
That's the ego death you're talking about.
Yes. I don't want to commune. No, I do not want to commune with a God. That just does not sound fun.
But it sounds like you're always doing it in the presence of your backyard, maybe at a homie's house. But people are literally taking psychedelic tourism even before the pandemic started. I mean, the people I could think of right away is Gwyneth Paltrow. I know that she had a Netflix series called The Goop Lab, and she actually sent her staffers to go do these crazy shit. I know Lindsay Lohan did it in the past, and more recently is Megan Fox, who went on Jimmy Kimmel talking about how she went to Costa Rica out of all places. So it's not just Jamaica that's throwing these psychedelic tourism attractions. It's all over the place. And hey, might not necessarily be for me, but it might be for you. So,
well, all I can say is Megan Fox, and I absolutely love her. I love her pizzazz. I love what's happening with her, but her ego did not die. I think she came back from that trip, dumped her ex. No, she dumped her ex, Brian, and then all of a sudden got with MGK and is a Kardashian. She literally killed her ego and became a Kardashian. I'm like, wow. Sorry, just had to say.
I have no comment. Yeah, there's always a beat that needs to go down. And this rapper is completely outlandish for this statement. And it's not circulating as much as it should be, but Marissa and I, you can thank us later, we're going to tackle this issue. Because American rapper Kevin Gates took to his 1.6 million Twitter followers this week, sparking a debate about what true romance really looks like. And Marissa, when you're ready, let's share the tweet on screen, and I'll read it for everybody, because if a woman comes in the bathroom and talks to me while I'm taking a shit, I find that very romantic. Hashtag Bay, you cut different. So, Marissa, it's come to my attention from Twitter followers of Kevin Gates that it really be the little things sometimes that makes romance wholesome. And I know user at Daniels807 tweeted, if you can't hold a conversation with the door open while taking a shit, what kind of relationship is it? So, Marissa, I mean,
No.
like something that you would want in a future
No,
partner?
no, seriously. Like
I
have
mean,
a
before
I have
even
a
let you
fart
chime in,
phobia.
Marissa, okay,
Dude,
you might have a-
no, I have a fart phobia because of my father, because he used to put us on the toilet whenever we farted more than once. So we did a 2 fart. You're on the toilet for hours until you took a poo, right? So me and my brothers, we actually have a fart phobia, let alone allowing someone to take a poo in front of us or talking. Like, dude, like close the door, jack off, do what you gotta do. Don't talk to me.
You might have a fart phobia, but I know for like 3/4 of the men out there that are probably listening right now, we all know damn well the most privacy that you're ever gonna get in life is not gonna be on social media anymore. It never was. The only place you're ever gonna get privacy is that damn bathroom. So people like Kevin Gates, y'all need to chill out, man, because we need to protect the bathrooms at all costs. And who would have known that we'd start playing country music during the week's wrap? But Spotify has recently launched a campaign to celebrate, among many highlights related to a surge in popularity in 90s country hits, that the platform now has over 89 million created playlists from Gen Z users. And of all people, Gen Z users are gravitating towards the country world with iconic country tracks such as Come On Over, George Strait's Carrying Your Love With Me, and Diana Carter's 25-year-old 90s country mega hit track, Strawberry Wine. And since 2019, average monthly plays of the 90s country playlist by Gen Z users have increased by 89% globally. And in the US alone, streams of the 90s country playlist have grown 150% in since 2018, and 70% among Gen Z users since 2018 as well. And Marissa, I've always vocal about how I'm not the biggest fan of modern day country music, but there's no denying that the rise of country music and the support of older country singers supporting the next generation is incredible. And I wanted to share you guys this cool moment because our past guest from last season, TikTok sensation Alexandra Kay, got a huge shout out by country legend Tim McGraw.
His dad looked down and smiled, so we can leave her behind. Son, I know you don't want her to go, but someday you'll change your mind. And Johnny said, take Jimmy Johnson, take Tommy Thompson, take my best friend Bo.
You just gotta love how older generations are now supporting the young youth. I mean, especially a huge shout out to Alexandra Kay. That is so cool, and I guarantee you will cherish that forever. And sky's the limit for you, my friend. Sky's the limit. Oh yeah. We got a couple minutes left on the week's wrap. We got to keep things kind of funky because there's a lot of funk happening in this world. And you know what, fam? Conor McGregor did it again, leaving the world speechless, delivering the most devastating first pitch ever seen in baseball. So the Ultimate Fighting Championship star and the 2-division champion threw a wild first pitch Tuesday at the start of the Chicago Cubs game at Wrigley Field, making Dr. Anthony Fauci's first pitch look like an MLB Hall of Famer. So you be the judge. Roll the clip, Marissa.
Dr. Anthony Fauci.
You know, what if I'm being a little too harsh, Marissa? Am I towards Conor McGregor? I mean, now that I
Okay,
kind of
so
look
he-
at both the footage, Fauci had no people in attendance, and McGregor did. I mean,
Okay,
but then
no,
again,
well,
he's the sports athlete.
in McGregor's defense, which is horrible because I'm not really like the person, he did just break an ankle, and it is hard
true,
to
too.
have a good
But
stance
you know
with
what?
a broken ankle.
But I'm gonna stop you there though, because we all know. I wish I had the clip for you. Maybe we'll play it next week just to tease him even more. But we all saw him throw a football, like a month ago during preseason. The guy couldn't even throw it even without the broken foot. So seeing him do this now, I just don't know. But after all, McGregor did throw in front of fans, and while Fauci had no one in attendance. So, but we'll see. You'd be the judge, fam. What's good, listeners? Joining us on Strike a Chord is vocalist and guitarist Danny Resnick of Astoria State, live on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. Also, check out our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring the Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk, out now wherever you listen to podcasts. And as we get Danny, aka King Foolish, what's the nickname King Foolish? Where's that coming from, my man?
Hey, you got me here?
I got you live. We got you, baby.
Awesome. King Foolish. King Foolish is it's actually a clothing company of mine, King Foolish Clothing, and it kind of also houses my like solo pop side music.
Okay.
From
So
time to
there's
time.
always mixed ventures that we always go.
This is
into.
actually King Foolish right here.
Okay, that's what's up.
like
I
that.
like it. I like it.
I think you should send me a shirt. I'm a small.
Hey,
But hey,
you know, I
Danny,
actually just got some.
oh, we're cutting out just a little bit with you, my man.
Are you there? You just had some. Oh, you
I-
froze.
Yeah, he just froze. I'm pretty sure he's just in the backyard at the moment, and we'll see what we can
He's
do
coming
right
back on.
now. Cool.
Oh.
Hey, that's just the world that we're living in, fam. This is why we call it the Chris College Show, Millennial Bunker
I
Edition.
know.
And Danny Resnick, he's the vocalist and guitarist for Astoria State, and maybe the best call. What do you think, Marissa? Maybe
I
I
we should
say
just-
we play one of
How
his.
about now?
Oh, there
Oh,
you
we
are.
just heard him.
Wait, you're
All
back. You're about to play your song.
We were just about to play the
Yay!
music video just to play it
Hey.
safe, but we got you back, Danny. And let's get right on into it, my man, because Astoria State is no stranger to the toll and grind of the music industry, as each member of the band has either been a road warrior or a musician in another group. And it's my understanding that you and your guitarist, Jesse Carroll, met each other for the first time as he was filling in for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I mean, tell me how the two of you formed Astoria State with your childhood friend, bassist Cameron Hurst.
Yeah. So yeah, that's correct. Yeah, 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now. It's crazy. I was playing for a band called Static Cycle, and we were on tour with the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. And Jesse at the time was filling in for them on guitar. He now is actually their tour manager, has been for years. Maybe he was at the time even too. So we just became quick friends. Over that, how it is on tour. You start hanging out with everybody every day for 3 months straight. And so yeah, we became really close. And then over the years, I moved to Jacksonville and was playing in another band out here. And Jesse and I and Ronnie, actually from Jumpsuit, we started another band years ago that we were all in different bands at the time, so it never really did much. But we did go record a few songs. Maybe one day those will slip
I
out.
just find that so cool, though, Danny, because how ironic and surreal does it feel to be currently on tour with the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, including the Dead Rabbits, which is Craig Mabbitt's side project.
Yeah.
We all know Craig from, the Escape the Fate. So that's a really big deal. I mean, what's the experience been like so far on tour during this god-awful pandemic?
Well, the tour, just touring itself in general, because of the pandemic and because of the drought, if you will, is amazing. And touring with Jumpsuit is especially awesome because, I'm in Jumpsuit. So I play keys for Jumpsuit. Jesse tour manager. So we travel with Jumpsuit anyway. So it's really awesome.
Well, I hope so if you're in it.
Yeah.
See, that was the thing. I never even realized that, though, Danny. I didn't realize that you were a member of the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Were you one of the OG members, or did you come in at a later time?
I came in late.
But how
I'm a
cool
newer...
is that, though, to be a part of the 15th anniversary show, playing keys for a band that essentially started Astoria State on a level? I find that just so groovy. I find that so cool.
It is. It's super cool. You know, we you know, it's really kind of hatched, obviously, within our Jumpsuit camp. You know, Jesse and I, we've been talking about doing a band for years, and then the pandemic happened. All of a sudden, we were like off the road, and it's like, man, you know, maybe we should like write some music. So we did, and everybody we showed, you know, the songs to was just like, wow, you guys got to record this. So, you know, we did that, and then next thing you know, it was like, well, man, you know, if we just bring a drummer and a bass player, you know, we can pretty much just tour both bands at the same time.
I was going to say,
really
I've never
easily.
really seen that move happen before. Usually you get the main act and they're like, yo, bro, I know that you got another little pet project that you want to do. I'm not saying that Astoria State is a pet project, but, you know, we don't want it to kind of fill up the bill. You're already kind of busy, Danny. But I find that really, really cool. And I know that we're about to be
Are you gonna split the profits with the other people? Because I know my ex was in a band, and his drummer would play guitars in another band and so on. And then he was like, there was arguments about who should get more money, if they should like split it evenly, or because you have two bands, do you get more of the pie?
Well, yeah, it doesn't totally work like that necessarily. So, you know, Astoria State, we get, you know, like our pay, you know, for playing, and then we sell our merch. So within Astoria State, which is me, Cameron, and Jesse, well, we actually aren't pulling money out yet. We're pretty much just putting it all in, but we are equal owners of Astoria State. So, and then we hire a drummer, so he gets paid. He makes more than I do on the road.
Drummers always make more. Something about a drummer, like they make more. They're in more bands. It's the hustle game.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, I'm sure it's different for everybody, but hey, Danny, I know that we're about to play your music video, Leave It to Me, and you sing the following in the chorus: leave it to me to look a little deeper and hate what I see. Running from the Reaper, she's looking for you, looking for me, looking for hearts to break and to bleed, but this time it won't be mine. So leave it to me to leave it behind. Just give us a brief little explanation about what you mean when you sing that in the chorus of this track.
Yeah, you know, I think that generally, you know, the rest of the song kind of, you know, talks about these darker kind of, you know, deeper elements, depression, self-doubt, all these things. And the chorus kind of slips into this, you know, optimism or the overcome portion, if you will, that says, you know, I might be down, but I'm not out. You know, I might look around and you know, hate everything that's going on around me. I might not like any of this, but, you know, I can, you know, put one foot in front of the other and, you know, walk away, move, you know, leave this behind and try again, look for something new. You know?
Absolutely. And you know what? Let's let the music speak for itself, because Danny, it really shows how powerful a lyricist that you are. So Marissa, when you're ready, let's play the music video. Leave It to Me, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Believe me, it's true. Tried to see, I tried to do, but how am I gonna walk a mile with no soul in these shoes? Just a little chewed up, spit out bad luck, face down in another smile, burying the issue, burying the issues. Look at me, look at you, wondering what we should do. Face the fear, fight it too. You know I'm gonna see this through. Leave it to me to look a little deeper and hate what I say. Running from the Reaper and she's looking for you, looking for me, looking for hearts to
That's what's good. That's Astoria State, and you can check out their brand new music. It's an EP called The Suffer and The Salvage. I said suffer. It's The Suffer and The Salvage. Dummy.
Yeah, just
Total
The Suffer,
dummy.
The Salvage.
Yeah, come on now. Come on. You got to get it right. Come on. We're on radio.
on, Chris.
We got to promote
Come on, Chris.
Astoria State.
You know, it's funny. Our first draft of that, when it came back, and none of us noticed. We're like, yeah, it looks great. It actually said The Suffer, The Savage, and like none of us noticed the L was missing.
Oh, how funny.
That would be kind of funny. And then you have to kind of explain it, and then everybody kind of has a hodgepodge excuse for what the album title is. But hey, I want to remind the listening audience that you are listening to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. This is Strike a Chord, where if you physically or digitally pick up the record, you're going to know these tracks. And we got vocalist and guitarist Danny Resnick with us. He is a band member of Astoria State and also the key player of the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Might as well shout that out because that is really freaking bitching. And Danny, Marissa and I are big fans of your single Nobody Knows, as it truly showcases your talents as a singer-songwriter. And I did see on the band's website that you described the song as, quote, the revelation you have when you are running away from the carnage without a place to go. What in the world does that even mean?
Well, you know, it's a metaphor. Yeah, you know, I think that, you know, if you look back at your times, you know, like at your life, rather, there are times, you know, where everything falls apart and things collapse, you know, whether it's divorce or, you know, a loss in a family or what have you, especially in the last year and a half or two almost now. A lot of people, I think, really can look not too hard into their lives and find moments like that. I myself, obviously the pandemic, you know, it knocked us off of tour. At the time I was living in Hawaii, and the island got a little weird, you know, so I didn't go
What
straight.
island? What island were you on?
I was on the Big Island.
Big Island, okay.
In Ka'u, yeah, the south, near South Point.
Okay.
Very nice.
So, and to make a long story really short, eventually I did get back to the island, and my dog, Astoria, had developed lymphoma.
Oh.
So she passed away within days of me getting back from tour, just before she turned 2.
Wow.
That's
So
young. That's so young for a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. My German Shepherd puppy. So that was a lot of the carnage for me. And just with that, in the pandemic came, you know, like I ended up leaving my house in Hawaii, coming back to the mainland. It came with a lot of change.
Yeah, absolutely. Going from paradise to, you know, now going into the nation's pandemic. And Danny, you say it so perfectly, because as nobody knows the future of live events in this country with COVID-19 twisting our lives upside down, I pray to God that you and the boys have a successful time on tour. And I'm just wondering, is the process any different to prepare for a tour compared to pre-pandemic?
Well, yes and no. You know, for Astoria State, you know, Cameron's in California. We're all kind of in different places. So the way this band really started for us, you know, our first show ever was in Fort Walton Beach earlier this year. And it was our first time playing together.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
That's
so
so
you guys were
crazy.
Zoom recording? Were
That
you
is
guys all
so
together when you were
crazy.
recording the music?
So Jesse and I wrote everything and then took it into the studio, and then we assembled, you know, at that point. You know, Cameron's been a friend of mine, and we've written music, you know, he's from Anchorage. So we've grew up together. But he kind of went a different route. You know, he went to, you know, he works at a refinery out there. So
Gotcha.
he went, you know, the college and construction route, you know, and so this kind of just kind of happened. You know, I was like, yo, man, we need a bass player. And actually, I think Jesse even brought it up to Cameron when we were out in California recording. And it all just kind of fell together, and he's the perfect guy for the job. I've known him forever. He's, you know, a great guitar player, great bass player. He sings, you know, so
I find that just so cool. I find that so amazing how you guys just pick up together on tour with the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. You don't know really where it's going to go. You're in 2 different parts of the world. Then you meet in California, record music, bring Cameron in, who I know he just got a baby. Congrats to Cameron. We'll give him a shout out today. And,
yeah.
And to just see that the 3 of you guys, the trio, is living it strong and playing for the first time ever live at your very first show. I don't think too many artists get to say that. And without further ado, let's play that track that we were just talking about from before. This is Astoria State, and this is their track, Nobody Knows.
I remember when it all went south. I remember sinking. I remember thinking, how did it get so bad? Am I going mad? I remember when it all went down. Remember all the pieces started hitting the ground, running from the shell shock. I remember praying, leave me something to believe in. You gotta believe me, you know I believe in all the things nobody knows, the things nobody knows. Don't leave me, make me a believer, not a deceiver. Walking round in honest clothes while round and round the whirlwind blows. Where it's stopping, nobody knows. I stand for nothing, am I even standing at all? If I fall for something, then is standing worth it at all? I don't really wanna know, I don't really wanna stay here, but I don't really wanna go. So when you take it all away, don't leave me, make me a believer, not a deceiver. Walking round in honest clothes while round and round the whirlwind blows. Where it stops, nobody knows. Stay here till I'm a believer, not a retreater. Run until my heart explodes while round and round the whirlwind blows. Where it's stopping, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So leave me something to believe in. You gotta believe me, you know I'm believing all the things nobody knows, things nobody knows. Don't leave me, make me a believer, not a deceiver. Walking round in honest clothes while round and round the whirlwind blows. Where it stops, nobody knows. Stay here till I'm a believer, not a retreater. Run until my heart explodes while round and round the whirlwind blows. Where it's stopping, nobody knows.
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Astoria State, and that is their track, Nobody Knows. And you're listening to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, and this is Strike a Chord, where if you physically or digitally pick up that record, you're going to know these tracks. And we got Danny Resnick, the guitarist and vocalist for that band, with us live with us right
I
now.
think that one is my favorite song, Danny.
Oh, easily.
I just
It's-
I mean, I love them all, but that one I like sing along to, and like I
It's a
rock
ballad.
out. I'm
No,
like,
it is. It's
I
definitely
love
one of those
ballads.
kinda
I love
like
it.
where
I
you
do
go,
it.
Is nobody home? Can I sing in the shower by myself? In
No, I
peace?
sing in front of people. I don't care.
That's true.
I have no shame.
That's true. We
No
gotta
shame
wear
in
the
my game.
crown with pride. King Foolish would say so, right? That's what the brand's all about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But hey, Danny, we only got like a few minutes because we obviously want to have enough time to play your song War in full. But I did want to tease you a little bit because I know that you reference that, love is war, and that's really what the single's all about. And what is up with our youth recently. Is romance really that dead? Because Marissa and I talked earlier in the show that rapper Kevin Gates said one of the most outlandish statements that I've ever heard, and I wanted to share it with you to see if you're on the same vibes
Okay.
with him, or maybe you agree with him. But he says true love is found when a woman comes in the bathroom and talks to him while he's taking a shit. Is that the kind of love that you need in your life, Danny?
Please say no. Please say no, Danny.
No.
Thank
Are
you.
you
I
sure?
was about
I
to say
mean-
you were cute. You're
In
about
fact,
to
I think I
lose that
need the kind of
cuteness.
love. I think I need the kind of love that doesn't do that.
Thank you.
But okay,
Thank you.
all jokes aside, Danny, when you wrote this track, War, my first reaction when I listened to it from front to back was, were you writing this track about you, or were you writing about your partner going through the shaky breakup?
It's kind of an interesting question. That's kind of one that I dove into, maybe like a compilation of bad experiences to write.
So
I
it's
think
not necessarily just about relationship. It can be a mix of things, is what you're kind of referencing.
Yeah, kind of. It's a little bit about life. It's a lot about, obviously, about love. It's more based on the relationship sense. But there's kind of a cycle of thoughts that it goes through too. With you just want to, that you kind of it's like, oh, it's over. It's
Right.
over. Take me to the end, because I'm done faking it at this point. Like, I just I don't want to do this again. But then you have these other follow up. Like, oh, I have to do this again. Like,
Right.
with somebody.
And you know what? I love
that.
I love, Danny, that you made this single actually a lyric video, because I think it actually works better in that sense. And it doesn't necessarily work out all the time. Because you are that kick-ass singer-songwriter. And you know what? Let's just let the music speak for itself. This is Astoria State's lyric video, War, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
And you better make it tall, 'cause this might be the end. Don't wanna pretend this is not a war. Here we go again, breaking at the bed, just like before. Haven't you heard? War is a four-letter
that's what's good. That is Astoria State, and that is their single War, and you can check it out. It's an amazing EP. It's called The Suffer and the Salvage. Not The Suffer and Savage, The Suffer and the Salvage. But hey, Danny, where can the CCS family check out that EP and follow you on social media?
Yeah, we're at Astoria State. We're, everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, obviously AstoriaState.com. We have all kinds of dope merch at AstoriaStateMerch.com. We have tour coming up. We are over the place. So we're out with the red jumpsuit and Dead Rabbits. Yeah, it's Craig Mabbitt from Escape the Fate.
You guys literally need to go and follow Astoria State. It's so easy. Just type in the name and you can find the tour lineup. Go and see a ticket. If you guys were on the West Coast, I would have absolutely been there with you. But I know you're going to be joining us real soon. I'm sure of it.
December.
Yay!
Jumpsuit will be there in December.
Okay,
we'll come watch.
Will be.
That's
Astoria State won't be on that one, but
that's okay. At least you'll be on the other one, so we'll come watch.
Yeah, you already know what's good. And we'd love to have you back on in the future for our Music Storm. And Danny, thank you again for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Absolutely.
Ciao, Bella.
Enjoy the weekend, fam. Peace.
You too. Later.
All right, listeners, this is what's good because there's just so much negativities on channels 2 through 11. So Marissa and I, we like to break the mold for you because why the hell not? As celebrities such as Billie Eilish team up with the Jordan brand to create vegan shoes with 20% recycled material, would you wear food waste as a bandage? Scientists in Singapore are tackling food waste by turning discarded Duranian husk into antibacterial gel bandages. This is super cool. You got to check it out for yourself. So Marissa, when you're ready, we got to let the people know. And you know what? I just find this such a cool, groundbreaking story just for the fact that every time we think about recycling, we only think about plastics and electronics, and we never think about the food that we eat, that fruit leftover. And I 110% support this because at the end of the day, if the shoe don't fit, it's not like you could just bite off the end of your vegan Air Jordans. This will actually, cure your wound, if you know what I'm saying. But you know what? We wanted to also give a huge shout out again to Danny Resnick. He is the guitarist and vocalist for Astoria State. So if you want to check him out on tour, the dates are live. So if you're on the East Coast, you're in for a treat. But anybody who's on, in SoCal or California where we're at, sorry, you're going to have to wait till December time, my man. But also I want to remind everybody to don't forget to check out our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring the Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk. And also, if you like what you see, go to thechriscollinsshow.com and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt. And I want to thank all my active listeners for joining us every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, this show wouldn't be possible. And all I know is we got another killer band joining us for next week's show, and that is Sleep Cycle, an alternative punk band from Philadelphia, baby. And you know what's up? Enjoy the weekend, fam. We'll see you next week. Peace. The Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2021, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Tiana Kutcher, Some Daggers Wear Red, Desmond Walker, Doulos, Saturn till June. YT Will.
It feels good to be the bad guy. Walk these shoes, you'll see why. Look at things from both sides. Ain't nothing like the
EC Main.
One thug, Lord, show a little mercy on one thug.
The Phoenix Within.
There's more weight in my words than you give me.
Chloe Wilder.
Come to those who wait. It's over, ain't no way, live and let go.
Jonas and I.
Burn bright enough to ignite the aurora down.
Kane.
The South, run that in my mouth.
And Animal Sun.
So tell me how do you see reasons to carry on?
Music Storm 2021. Available on YouTube Live. Peace. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat.
Hello.
You would look
Can you
so
hear me?
jazzy.
I love your outfit.
How far would you go to start playing live music again? This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So, are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music? Everything is everything, and I guarantee you're gonna hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you. And you know what? I love it. Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace.